Good morning. I am finally getting to chapter 7. Just didn't even think about how the holidays would push that off. Since it's been a while since chapter 6, I want to just recap on the fact that it ended with a dramatic scene in the sky. The sun, the stars, the moon, all giving this epic visual alert. Something big is about to happen. And mankind is hiding. And my assumption is that the church isn't there because we wouldn't be fearful of the day of the Lord. We are his. And there's so many promises where those who are his are protected. Psalm 27, I'll start in verse 3. Though a host encamp against me, my heart will not fear. Though war rise against me, in spite of this, I shall be confident. One thing I have asked from the Lord, that I shall seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to meditate in his temple. For in the day of trouble, he will conceal me in his tabernacle. In the secret place of his tent, he will hide me. He will lift me up on a rock, and now my head will be lifted up above my enemies around me. And I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises to the Lord. And it keeps going. I love Psalm 27. But I wanted to read that because just to recap on chapter 6, because I feel like if you're his, you long for him. And when you look around this world, you feel it drawing to a close. And that brings questions. Father, what are we about to face? And at what point are we with you? And you've got so many theologies that will come at you once you ask those questions. And it's really hard to push them aside and just read his word. And that's kind of been my endeavor in this journey, just to read his word and not just to accept a pre-trib's argument versus a pre-wrath versus a post-trib. I think it's just so much more involved than that. I think there are layers we haven't seen before, precursors within the seals themselves that aren't even in the 7-year tribulation. And if you're just now joining us, feel free to back up and rewatch some of these other chapters in Revelation. But I want to get to chapter 7 today. So let's do this. After this, I saw 4 messengers standing at the 4 corners of the earth and holding back the 4 winds of the earth so that there would not be wind on the earth or on the waters or on any tree. Then I saw another messenger who came from the rising of the sun. So in the Greek translation, from the east, right? Sun rises in the east. And he had the seal of the living El. And he imposed and cried out with a great voice to the 4 messengers to whom it was given to damage the earth and the sea. And he said, do not damage the earth or the sea or the trees until I place a mark on the foreheads of the servants of Yahweh. And I heard the number of those who were sealed. It was 144,000 who were sealed of the families of the children of Israel. From the tribe of Yehudah, 12,000. From the tribe of Reuben, 12,000. And from the tribe of Gad, 12,000. From the tribe of Asher, 12,000. From the tribe of Naphtali, 12,000. From the tribe of Manasseh, 12,000. From the tribe of Shimon, 12,000. From the tribe of Levi, 12,000. And from the tribe of Issachar, 12,000. And from the tribe of Zebulun, 12,000. And from the tribe of Yosef, 12,000. And from the tribe of Benjamin, 12,000. And after this, I saw a great crowd, which one is not able to number, from all the peoples. And this has a note in there that all the peoples stands for like all the nations, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. And they were clothed in white garments, and in their hands were branches. And they cried out with a great voice and said, "The salvation belongs to Yahweh, Yud-He, Vav-He, and to the Lamb." And all the messengers were standing around the throne, and the elders and the living creatures, and they fell on their faces before the throne and prayed to Yahweh and said, "Lauding and thanks and praises and honor and glory and power and might be to our Elohim from everlasting and unto everlasting. Amen." Then one of the elders answered and said to me, "Who are these that are clothed in white garments, and from what place do they come?" So I said to him, "Adon, you know." And he said to me, "These are they who come from the midst of much suffering, and they have washed their garments and purified their garments with the blood of the Lamb. And because of this, they are before the throne of Yahweh, and they will serve him day and night. And he who sits on the throne, he will dwell by them. And this is, they will not be hungry nor thirsty, and burning heat in the sun will not smite them. For the Lamb will lead them to a well of waters, and Yahweh Elohim will wipe off the tears from all their faces." That is chapter 7. So I want to back up. Chapter 6 ends with that epic scene in the sky. Like, okay, you can't miss this. This is it. I feel like, you look at the pre-trib argument, you look at the pre-wrath argument, and I just want to be like, I want to shove them aside. Like, can we just read the word? Because something epic happens here in chapter 6, and it's literally labeled the wrath of God. Oh no, the day of the Lord has come. And before that, in chapter 5, they're like, when will your wrath come? When will you avenge us? And the reason I keep bringing that up is the one thing we can all agree on is there are many, many promises of his church, his bride, being spared his wrath. We're not promised to be spared tribulations and trials of this world. And I know you've heard that before, but let me draw it out. We aren't promised to even be spared these awful precursors to the tribulation. And a part of me wonders if some of these precursors kind of bleed into when the tribulation starts. And I feel like that's why there are so many arguments around when are we drawn up. And I think we have to let them go. I don't know, the more I read, that he spells it out. What we do know is that when the epic scene happens in the sky, the sun going dark, the moon turning blood red, the stars falling, and when mankind is hiding because they know this is the awful day of the Lord. And then you come to chapter 7. Let me read this again because it paints a picture. "And after this, I saw 4 messengers standing at the 4 corners of the earth." And this really means 4 quarters of the earth. "And holding back the 4 winds of the earth so that there would not be wind on the earth or on the waters or on any tree." And I just thought, what a loud silence. That is silence, no wind. You just saw something freakishly epic in the sky. And now suddenly it's dead still. There's no wind. There's no breeze. There is this epic pause. And it's happening in heaven too. There is an epic pause. And then the tribes of Israel, sorry, there's children here from Christmas break, are sealed. They are sealed. And notice it's only the tribes of Israel are sealed. And it makes you wonder, okay, where's his bride? Where's his church? And when you get past the ceiling, and after this, where are they? I saw a great crowd, which one is not able to number, from all the peoples, all the nations, standing before the throne. We know, children are wonderful. We know we're with him. And some will argue we're with him even before this. But we know we're there. We know we're there, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white. And we're worshiping. We're worshiping. And that question posed to John, who are these people? Well, you know. These are they who come from the midst of much suffering. So this is the Hebrew translation. And other translations make it sound more like the tribulation, which then you've got these arguments that hold on to that. Oh, these are the tribulation saints. This isn't the church that's been brought up. And I'm wondering if maybe that was never meant to be spelled out that way. If you do your research, the Hebrew translation of Revelation is the original. And as you read, you'll see certain details that have been stripped or added. And I like what someone said, and she has her own channel. I'm forgetting her name right now. She's had far more schooling than I in biblical matters. But what I like she said was that what's comforting, though, is that the heart of the message is still here. It hasn't quite been so tampered with that you miss the overall warnings and the promises. But there's little details that I think have led us to squabbling over when are we drawn up. When you read this line, so this is chapter 7, verse 14. So I said to him, Adon, you know. And he said to me, these are they who come from the midst of much suffering. Not just much suffering. And when you think of the precursors, especially seal 4, the fourth horseman, death following him, if that is a precursor to the Lord's wrath, which I'm believing, I honestly believe it truly is, because chapter 6 and 7 spell out a huge picture of this is it, pay attention. Epic scenes happening in the sky, then this silence in heaven in chapter 6, and then the silence on earth. No wind, no breeze, silence. His wrath is about to come. And those who are left on earth are terrified. And when you read this line, the way it is in the Hebrew, original Hebrew, these are they who came from the midst of much suffering. It doesn't sound like these are the tribulation saints. It isn't that. This is us. How long have we been there? It doesn't say. So I feel like if the bride of God could just put off all the arguments and just read his word and see that his promise still stands. Great is his faithfulness. His promise still stands. His bride is spared his wrath. And those who are left of the tribes of Israel, they are sealed. Let me go back to Psalm 27. Okay, here we go. Psalm 27, verse 5. For in the day of trouble, he will conceal me in his tabernacle. In the secret place of his tent, he will hide me. He will lift me up on a rock. And now my head will be lifted up above my enemies around me. And then this next part, this is the part in heaven, right? Here we see them here. And what do? They are worshiping him. And I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice, and be gracious to me and answer me. And when you said, seek my face, my heart said to you, your face, O Lord, I shall seek. You just keep reading. Psalm 27 is beautiful. And I think of this epic scene in heaven. The pause on earth before his wrath rains down. echoing the pause in heaven at the end of chapter 6. This big pause. And the children of Israel are sealed. And in heaven is his bride, worshiping him, safe, concealed in his tabernacle, lifted above their enemy. And I just find peace in that. I don't need to know the when. I don't even need to know exactly how. I just need to know that Yud He Vav He, which means they call it his name, your name, but it also means behold the hand, behold the nail. He who set everything in motion from the foundations of the earth, he knows what he's doing. He knows how. He knows when. And his promises stand. He is faithful and true. And Jesus comes victorious at the end of the tribulation, faithful and true. These next chapters, I have a lot of homework to do because this gets messier. And some of the next chapters kind of echo these previous chapters we've read. And I'm going to be praying for guidance. It's hard to know what is next and what is an echo. So as you read, be praying. And please add me to your prayers. I am praying. I'm enjoying reading his word without preconceived notions floating in my head. It's nice to just read and hear what the Lord is saying. And then sorting out all that stuff afterward. God bless you.